That little intro film was shot on a camera that is very well known for photography, not filmmaking. But lately, I've just been on the hunt for my dream everyday cinema carry. It's a term I've coined, EDCC. Here's my criteria for my everyday cinema carry, or just my everyday carry camera. It has to shoot very high quality stills with little to no editing, and it also has to shoot very high quality video that doesn't require too much editing as well, for life documenting and capturing memories that I really care about that I'll be able to save for decades. And most importantly, it has to be compact. I need something that's just easy and convenient to take with me, but I still get excited about the quality it captures. I've nearly driven myself mad deep diving the camera that we're talking about today, so sit back, relax, and let's dig deep. This video is sponsored by Professional Photographers of America. The camera we are talking about today is the OM System OM3. OM gosh, what a creative name. Let's get this part out of the way. It looks like a retro film photography camera, which is probably why a lot of people ignore this camera as a video-centered camera and focus pretty much primarily on the photography features. And this is a wonderful photography camera. I've made another video kind of diving into that on a road trip that I went on. So today I wanna flip this camera on its head and really analyze it from a video-centered perspective. We will get into photo stuff a little bit too, because this is like an everyday camera series that I'm diving into, and I do care a lot about photography. So if you're here for that, don't worry, it's here as well, but I really wanna dive into the video stuff. For ergonomics and design, holding this camera does feel really good, and the retro design makes it incredibly discreet out in public. Nobody's gonna be expecting you to be ripping cinematic footage bangers when you're out on the streets, because it just looks like an everyday tourist travel film camera. As you can see, there's no grip on the front of the body. It's very flat here, but there is a thumb grip right back here, which does make holding the camera pretty easy and comfortable, especially with two hands. One hand can be a little bit sketchy, but it's pretty lightweight, so it's not bad. Navigating everything on the camera feels incredibly high quality. The buttons and switches and dials, everything just feels so premium and luxurious compared to a lot of plasticky cameras that are coming out these days. Especially with the throwback retro looking design, it's nice that that's matched with some really premium ergonomics. And you get a fully articulating flippy vlog style screen, a really nice EVF, a single SD card slot, and fantastic battery life from this camera as well, which is all amazing in terms of daily use. Tucked inside the body is a micro 4/3 sensor, as you may have noticed, which for the concept of an everyday carry is actually great, because smaller sensor equals smaller lenses, which equals better portability. I'm rocking the OM System 25mm 1.8 Mark II. There are some more pancakey prime options out there, but this is a relatively small option with autofocus. Speaking of autofocus, let's get into all the video features. I'm really excited about this. In-body image stabilization. This camera is probably the only camera brand I've ever tested that has adjustable IBIS strength. So you can choose between like IBIS or IBIS plus digital, but you can also dial the strength down or up depending on what you want. I'm a simple man, so I just go with default and I use the IS2 setting, and I get incredibly smooth results from this camera. If you can hold it relatively steady and ninja walk, it really is incredible stabilization, which is great from such a lightweight camera. You don't have to worry about micro jitters at all. For autofocus, it's obviously gonna depend on what lens you're using. On mine, specifically the 25mm f1.8 Mark II from OM System, the autofocus is pretty dang great. It's not too jumpy or hunty. It's not as fast and snappy as something like Sony, but it's smooth enough where it doesn't look crazy at all, and it can hold a subject relatively well. So I don't really have complaints with the autofocus for daily use and memory capture. There's also a digital teleconverter that works in both photo and video modes. So if you need a little extra reach, like maybe you just have a wider prime lens and you want to punch in, you can just use that digital teleconverter and essentially turn your lens into two lenses if you don't have a zoom. You can also utilize video tools like zebras so you don't overexpose your highlights, tally lights, and a red frame around the screen so you can see when you're recording, and 1/48 shutter for accurate motion blur if you're shooting in 24 frames per second. Not to mention, this sensor has amazing rolling shutter performance. Like, you won't have to worry about jello effects at all with this camera. All of these things are just nice little winks at us video peeps. Thank you, Jesus. Now let's briefly touch on photography stuff and then get into the nitty-gritty of the image quality of this camera. We're gonna deep dive it. But for photography, I really enjoy cameras like this that have built-in JPEG film simulation modes. If you're one of those people that thinks JPEG is dumb, you can shoot in RAW or RAW plus JPEG so you can still experiment and have fun. I'm a dad and I don't have time to edit photos every night, so shooting in really pretty JPEG modes is really nice on this camera. They have some awesome just built-in options that look great out of the box, but you can also customize the individual hues of these different color profiles, and their black and white profiles are beautiful and allow you to have 3 different strength settings of grain. The one problem though is that OM system, you need to add grain into the other color profiles, not just black and white. I would love to see that. Just like Fujifilm and Lumix, you can add grain on any color profile. Another awesome thing with the photography is there's gonna be an amazing conference coming up called Imaging USA in early 2026, which I will be at in Nashville, Tennessee, here in the States. This convention was one of my highlights of this past year and all the trips I went on. Just amazing people that go to these events. The gear showroom floor, the art galleries of amazing photos are all so incredible to experience. And imaging is put on by my channel sponsor, Professional Photographers of America. So huge shout out to them for sponsoring today's video. If you don't know, the PPA membership you sign up for gives you up to $15,000 of gear equipment insurance. You can also get things like rate cards and contract templates so you don't have to write them yourself or force an AI to do it for you. And even if you have a client get peeved off at you or you lose data or something, their indemnification trust, which is included with your PPA membership, allows them to step in and assist you with situations like that. And you get access to Imaging USA for free. So we can hang out. I'm doing a community meetup, more details soon at Imaging USA 2026. So become a PPA member at the link in the description and you'll get $25 off your membership. Now let's move on to image quality. This section of the video deserves its whole chapter because at the end of the day, if the video image quality of the OM3 sucks, then you have to subscribe. And the footage does absolutely suck unless you change a couple key settings. So the very first thing you have to do with this camera is change the codec from H.264 to H.265. H.264 is 8-bit only and the footage looks like crap. Like it does not look good. But once you change over to H.265, things change dramatically. You get access to 10-bit footage and you can shoot cinema 4K up to 60 frames per second with the entire sensor of this camera, which is in long GOP, and this format of footage looks so much better than the H.264 8-bit stuff. Ignore that, go with the 265, and the footage is actually pretty good. We're gonna keep going on this though. OM's log profile isn't quite as flat as other companies like Sony's S-Log 3, but it is workable. If you're in DaVinci Resolve, there's not a native color space transform to get you from OM Log 400 to Rec 709. So you'll either have to build your grade completely from scratch, or you can download the OM Log 400 Rec 709 LUT from OM System and use that as a starting point, whatever you wanna do. We're gonna get back into how to work the image in OM Log 400, but also I wanna mention that in the photography mode of this camera, you get access to all those beautiful color profiles and black and white profiles and stuff like that. I really wish it was more like Fujifilm, where those would transfer over to the video mode of the OM3 as well, and you could just bake those filmic looks into your footage in 10-bit, and then that way you just pull the SD card out and your look is already baked in. You don't have to grade it. That would be an amazing firmware update. I don't know if the engineers over there could do that, but that would be next level for this camera. The colors, and specifically the skin tones on the OM3, look very natural and very pleasing to the eye. I was actually very surprised. The footage is also very clean, especially for a Micro Four Thirds sensor. Even in low light kind of walkabout city footage I've been getting, it's a very clean image to start with. And I tried to push the color pretty hard on the richness in the DaVinci Resolve Film Look Creator, and there's a surprising amount of color depth in this footage for how low of a bit rate the 10-bit files are. And with a little bit of halation, grain, and just tweaking the colors and richness, I was able to get some stuff out of this camera that I really, really liked. So what's our conclusion? Is this a solid everyday cinema carry or everyday carry camera? I think yes, it's a great camera. The photography side, there's a few quirks that I don't like the lack of grain in the color profiles, but other than that, it's a great photo camera. You get the amazing build quality, a nice EVF, and a flip screen, which is very helpful for video. One con I've run into is the size of the camera. For a Micro Four Thirds camera, it's actually surprisingly large. And sadly, even with this small lens that I have on it, I really can't fit it in my pocket. So that's kind of a bummer for me because I'm really looking for something that I can slip into a pocket very discreetly and just live in the moment and whip it out when I need it. Pause. Another downside for me personally is the price. It's not a cheap camera. You do get a really well-rounded hybrid that's great at photo and video, beautiful build quality, everything we already mentioned, but for that amount of money, you can actually buy a pretty decent full frame camera if you want that instead. So let me know if that's worth it for you, and also let me know in a comment below what camera I should try out next. Please text me when you get home so I know you're safe, and watch out for deer. Feel free to support me on Patreon to have your names over here. Follow me on Instagram for short and dumb stuff like this. And remember that you guys are loved far more than you might even know. All right, God bless you guys. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.